Hello folks, this is Jason Kwasnicki. I'm with the Outerhaven, Day 3, PAX East. We're tired, but we still got lots of great games to show you folks. I'm here with Dan Adelman. He's repping for Borealys Games, Mage of Mystralia. So, the slug line I got from Philip over there, this is Legend of Zelda Exploration, Diablo Combat. You think that's accurate?
Yeah, actually I think it goes a lot deeper than that, especially the combat of Diablo thing I think is a little misleading. Because actually the core mechanic of the game is you play as a young mage who's just learning about her magic abilities, and so as you go through the game, you discover these runes which help you design your own spells. So it's a very creative type of exercise where you go through, you design spells, and you use those spells to fight off all kinds of enemies, solve environmental puzzles and challenges. So yeah, and the more you progress through the game, the more complicated and powerful spells you can create.
So the puzzles are integrated into this progression system in and of itself.
Exactly, yeah. You create more and more complex spells. You also get more and more mana, so you can afford to cast these spells, and you get more and more power as you go.
Cool. Now, Phil was telling me you guys have done all the math work, or all that stuff that I unfortunately can't do, hence why I'm here doing interviews. And you're saying there's somewhere in the area of 2 million possible combination of these ruins.
Yeah, and in fact, I think in a way his math might even be underestimating it, because I think potentially you could create infinite number of spells by combining things in different ways. And one of the things that's not in this build, but something that's on our roadmap, is to add nested spells.
Oh.
So you could have spells within spells. So like you could have something where as soon as a spell hits its target, then it triggers another spell, and then that in turn triggers another spell. So you could potentially you could stack all kinds of stuff. And so people will really be limited by their own creativity, and people will be able, and we're already finding with just the small number of runes we have for the PAX demo, we're already finding people coming up with stuff we never expected them to.
That's what I like, folks. RPGs that you can break really easily. So, speaking, you said that this is somebody who's like reclaiming their heritage. That's kind of the slug line right there. Tell us a little bit about the story, about the scenario here.
Yeah, so you play as a young girl named Zia who accidentally discovers that she has magic abilities by she accidentally burns down her parents' home, and so she goes into exile. Magic is a known quantity in this universe, but it's very rare, and is associated with the royal bloodline. So the old royal family was ousted from power, and so magic is actually illegal. So she goes into exile and goes off to learn the ways of magic on her own to kind of get some control over her magic abilities. And then little by little she starts to understand what's going on behind the scenes with the shadow government and what her role in this world should be. So the story actually, we recently started working with Ed Greenwood, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he created the Forgotten Realms world of Dungeons and Dragons. He's written a whole bunch of fantasy novels. So we have like the overall story arc that we want to do, but then he actually, uncovered all kinds of plot holes that we hadn't thought of, because we're not writers.
Yes. That's what happens when you get these really big, expansive worlds.
Exactly, and so he's writing the dialogue. So it's actually, the story's going to be really, really interesting and really fun for people to explore.
Fantastic. This sounds great. I love it. Lots of lore. Okay. Freedom, complete freedom for the player. What I love to hear as a fan of RPGs. Now, what platforms can players expect to find this on? And when do you think they'll be able to pick this up?
So Steam for sure. It's being developed in Unity, which means we can really bring it to any console. In fact, we're already licensed developers on all 3 consoles, and they've all been really interested. So it's really going to be about resources. We'd like to have at least 1 console at launch. Ideally all of them at once. We'll see.
PS4.
Yeah, so actually, we really want the community to let us know if they're interested in the game. Like, tell us what platforms do you play on, and that'll help us prioritize.
Cool. Well, Dan, thank you so much for your time. Folks, this has been Dan Adelman. He's repping for Borealys Games. This is Mage of Mystralia. I'm Jason. We're having a ton of fun here. We're learning all about some brand spanking new RPG goodness. Keep it locked right here, folks.